Right now, 350 miles above Earth, the James Webb Space Telescope is capturing images that are making scientists question everything. Galaxies that formed when the universe was supposedly too young, black holes growing faster than the laws of physics should allow, and planets with atmospheres that shouldn't exist. If you want to understand how these discoveries are rewriting the story of our cosmos, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more mind-bending space content. What we're about to explore will challenge everything you thought you knew about reality. Prepare yourselves. We begin. Deep in the cosmic dawn, when the universe was just 400 million years old, something impossible happened. Scientists expected to find tiny, primitive galaxies struggling to form their first stars. Instead, James Webb revealed massive galactic titans already spinning with billions of mature stars. These cosmic giants contain more mass than our entire Milky Way, yet they existed when the universe was barely 3% of its current age. Think of it like finding a fully grown oak tree in a field that was planted yesterday. The discovery shattered our understanding of cosmic evolution. According to every model, galaxies should grow slowly over billions of years through countless mergers and star formation cycles. These ancient behemoths had no time for such patience. They appeared to have formed almost instantly after the Big Bang, defying the fundamental timeline astronomers have relied on for decades. Dr. Emma Rodriguez from the Space Telescope Science Institute describes the shock perfectly. Her team was expecting cosmic infants and found cosmic titans instead. The galaxies show complex spiral structures, supermassive black holes at their centers, and chemical signatures that should have taken eons to develop. Yet there they were, fully formed, when the universe was still learning to make its first atoms glow. The implications terrify cosmologists. If galaxies could grow this massive, this quickly, then dark matter must behave completely differently than we thought. Either gravity worked faster in the early universe, or we are missing entire chapters of cosmic history. Some scientists now propose that these galaxies formed from primordial black holes that emerged directly from the Big Bang itself. What makes this discovery even stranger is the sheer number of these impossible galaxies. Webb has found dozens scattered across the early cosmos, suggesting this was not a rare fluke but a common occurrence. Each observation forces scientists to recalculate the fundamental constants that govern how matter behaves in space and time. The galaxies also emit light in wavelengths that should not exist yet. Heavy elements like oxygen and carbon, which form inside dying stars, appear in abundances that require millions of stellar generations. Yet these galaxies formed before such stellar factories had time to operate. It is like finding gold coins in a mine shaft before anyone invented mining. These discoveries are forcing astronomers to consider radical possibilities. Maybe the universe went through multiple phases of creation we never detected. Perhaps time itself moved differently in the cosmic dawn. Or maybe our entire understanding of how gravity shapes matter over cosmic distances needs complete revision. The most unsettling possibility is that these galaxies formed through processes that no longer operate in our universe today. Forces that shaped the cosmos in its infancy might have been fundamentally different from the physics we observe now. But if massive galaxies could form impossibly fast, what about the supermassive black holes lurking at their hearts? In the heart of the Crab Nebula, 6,500 light-years from Earth, stars are being born where no stars should exist. Traditional star formation requires specific conditions. You need dense clouds of gas and dust, temperatures around -400 degrees Fahrenheit, and millions of years for gravity to slowly compress matter until nuclear fusion ignites. The process is delicate, predictable, and well understood. Or so we thought, until Webb started watching stars appear in environments that should kill them instantly. These rogue stars are forming inside active supernova remnants, where temperatures reach millions of degrees and radiation should vaporize any forming stellar nursery. It is like watching flowers bloom inside a blast furnace. The stellar winds from nearby massive stars should scatter any gas clouds long before they can collapse into new stars. Yet Webb captures images of bright protostars emerging from these cosmic hellscapes. Even more bizarre, these impossible stars are forming faster than any known mechanism allows. Where normal star birth takes millions of years, these stellar rebels complete their formation in mere thousands of years. They skip entire phases of the standard stellar evolution model, jumping from gas cloud to burning star as if someone hit the cosmic fast-forward button. The Webb images show something that breaks every rule of astrophysics. Inside the Orion Nebula, young stars are forming in gravitational environments that should tear them apart. The tidal forces from nearby massive stars create conditions similar to being stretched on a cosmic rack. Yet somehow, these stellar babies not only survive, but thrive in the chaos. Dr. Michael Chen from Harvard has been studying these anomalous formations. His team discovered that some of these impossible stars contain heavy elements that should not exist in such young stellar objects. These elements require multiple generations of stellar death and rebirth to create, yet they appear in stars that formed yesterday on cosmic timescales. The mystery deepens when you examine their energy output. These stars burn brighter and hotter than their mass should allow. A star with the mass of our Sun is producing energy like a star 50 times more massive. They seem to be accessing fusion processes that our physics textbooks claim are impossible at such low stellar masses. What terrifies astronomers most is the rate at which these impossible stars are appearing. Webb detects new ones forming every few months, suggesting that whatever mechanism creates them is accelerating. The phenomenon appears to be spreading to other regions of space that were previously stable. Some scientists propose these stars form through interactions with dark matter that we cannot detect. Others suggest they represent a new phase of stellar evolution triggered by cosmic conditions that only exist in our current epoch. The most radical theory suggests these stars are forming through quantum tunneling effects that allow matter to bypass normal gravitational constraints. These stellar rebels are not random anomalies, but seem to follow patterns we do not yet understand. They cluster in specific regions and appear to communicate through gravitational waves that create synchronized formation events across vast distances. If stars can ignore the fundamental rules of formation, what about the planets orbiting them? 50 light-years away, circling a star called TOI 715, a planet exists that should not be able to breathe. Webb has analyzed the atmosphere of this distant world and found something that challenges everything we know about planetary chemistry. The planet contains oxygen levels higher than Earth, nitrogen in impossible concentrations, and water vapor suspended in atmospheric layers that should collapse under their own weight. It is like finding a fish swimming through air. According to planetary formation models, this world should be a barren rock. It orbits too close to its star for liquid water, yet somehow maintains vast cloud systems spanning entire continents. The atmospheric pressure is 3 times greater than Earth's, but instead of crushing everything beneath a toxic blanket, it creates weather patterns that seem almost designed for life. The really unsettling discovery came when Webb detected industrial pollutants in the atmosphere. Compounds that on Earth only result from manufacturing processes appear in concentrations that suggest massive industrial activity. Yet this planet supposedly has no intelligent life, no technology, and no reason to produce such chemicals naturally. Dr. Sarah Kim from the Exoplanet Research Institute has been tracking these anomalous atmospheres across dozens of worlds. Her findings suggest that at least 30% of rocky planets contain atmospheric compositions that violate known chemistry. Elements appear in combinations that should be chemically impossible, maintained by energy sources that have no known explanation. The most shocking example is a planet designated HD 40307G. Its atmosphere contains pure metallic hydrogen, floating in gaseous form at temperatures where it should instantly condense into liquid. The hydrogen forms complex structures that resemble crystalline formations, creating atmospheric layers that behave like solid materials while remaining completely gaseous. Even stranger are the atmospheric tides. On Earth, our atmosphere is relatively stable, but these exoplanets show atmospheric masses that surge back and forth across the planet's surface like ocean waves. Entire atmospheric layers migrate from dayside to nightside in patterns that seem to follow mathematical sequences rather than chaotic weather systems. Webb has detected atmospheric lightning storms that last for years and generate electrical discharges visible from interstellar distances. These storms create plasma formations that maintain geometric shapes, suggesting some unknown organizing principle at work in planetary atmospheres. The chemical signatures tell an impossible story. Heavy elements that require stellar nucleosynthesis to create appear in pristine form, as if they were manufactured rather than formed through natural processes. Isotope ratios follow patterns that match no known stellar or planetary formation mechanism. Most disturbing is the discovery of atmospheric synchronization. Planets, separated by dozens of light years, show identical atmospheric changes occurring simultaneously. When one planet's atmosphere shifts composition, others follow suit within hours, despite being too far apart for any known form of communication. Some atmospheres contain molecular structures that appear to be self-replicating, growing more complex over time, without any obvious energy source. These atmospheric organisms, if that is what they are, seem to be terraforming their host planets through processes that operate faster than biological evolution. The implications are staggering. Either our understanding of planetary chemistry is completely wrong, or these worlds are being actively modified by intelligences we cannot detect. But atmospheric mysteries pale beside what Webb discovered about the black holes powering these systems. At the center of galaxy GN11, 11 billion light-years from Earth, sits a black hole that should not exist. This cosmic monster contains the mass of 40 million suns, yet it formed when the universe was only 400 million years old. According to Einstein's equations, black holes can only grow by consuming matter at a specific maximum rate called the Eddington limit. Even feeding continuously at this theoretical maximum, this black hole would need several billion years to reach its current size. It somehow grew to impossible proportions in a fraction of the time physics allows. The discovery forces astronomers to confront an uncomfortable reality. Either our understanding of black hole physics is fundamentally wrong, or these ancient giants formed through mechanisms that no longer operate in our universe. It is like finding a mountain that grew from pebble to peak in a single day. Webb has identified dozens of these impossible black holes scattered across the early cosmos. Each one violates the fundamental speed limits that govern how matter can fall into a gravitational well. They seem to have bypassed the normal rules of accretion, somehow swallowing entire star systems in cosmic gulps that should have choked them with their own luminosity. Dr. James Wright from the Black Hole Research Consortium describes these objects as cosmic rule breakers. His calculations show that to reach their observed masses, these black holes would need to consume matter at rates 100 times faster than the Eddington limit allows. At such feeding rates, the intense radiation should blow away any approaching matter, making further growth impossible. The mystery deepens when you examine how these black holes interact with their host galaxies. Instead of gradually influencing star formation over millions of years, they seem to sculpt entire galactic structures almost instantaneously. Galaxies that should take billions of years to develop their characteristic shapes appear fully formed around these impossible black holes. Even more disturbing is the discovery that these ancient black holes emit energy signatures that do not match any known physics. They produce gravitational waves that arrive before the light from the same events, suggesting they somehow bend causality itself. Time seems to flow differently in their vicinity, with stellar orbits that complete faster than relativistic calculations predict. Webb detected something even stranger. These supermassive black holes appear to communicate with each other across vast cosmic distances. When one black hole changes its activity level, Others respond within timeframes that suggest faster-than-light information transfer. They seem to operate as a network, coordinating their behavior through mechanisms that violate our understanding of space-time. The most unsettling discovery came from analyzing their X-ray emissions. These black holes produce energy patterns that match no known astrophysical process. The radiation signatures suggest they are accessing energy sources beyond the conversion of matter to energy through Einstein's famous equation. They seem to be tapping into fundamental forces that we have not yet discovered. Some scientists propose these black holes formed directly from the Big Bang itself, emerging as primordial gravitational concentrations that skipped the normal stellar evolution pathway. Others suggest they represent entrances to parallel dimensions where different physical laws apply. The implications terrify cosmologists. If black holes can ignore the fundamental limits of physics, then our entire understanding of gravity, space-time, and causality may be just approximations of more complex realities. But black hole mysteries are just the beginning of Webb's assault on established science. Deep in the spectrum of light, from the galaxy Mach Zone 1149 JWST, Webb detected something that rewrites the periodic table of cosmic history. This ancient galaxy, formed when the universe was only 500 million years old, contains heavy elements like gold, platinum, and uranium in concentrations that should not exist for another 10 billion years. These elements form only in the explosive deaths of massive stars or the collision of neutron stars. Yet here they appear in pristine abundance when the cosmos had barely begun making its first stars. The discovery violates everything we know about stellar nucleosynthesis. Heavy elements require multiple generations of stellar birth, life, and death to accumulate in significant quantities. Each stellar generation creates progressively heavier elements, slowly enriching the cosmic inventory over billions of years. Finding these elements in such an early galaxy is like discovering a library full of Shakespeare in a cave painting era. Dr. Lisa Martinez from the Cosmic Chemistry Lab has been mapping these elemental anomalies across dozens of early galaxies. Her surveys reveal that nearly half of the most ancient galaxies contain impossible elemental abundances. Elements that require neutron star collisions appear in galaxies where no neutron stars should exist yet. The isotope ratios tell an even stranger story. On Earth, elements show predictable isotopic signatures based on their formation processes. But these ancient galaxies contain isotopes in ratios that match no known nuclear process. Some elements appear to have been manufactured rather than formed through stellar evolution. Webb detected something particularly disturbing in the galaxy cluster Abell 2744. Ancient galaxies there contain technetium, an element so unstable that it decays completely in millions of years. Yet these galaxies are billions of years old. The presence of technetium suggests either continuous production through unknown processes or some mechanism that violates radioactive decay laws. Even more mysterious are the rare Earth elements appearing in concentrations thousands of times higher than theoretical predictions. These elements typically form in trace amounts through complex stellar processes. Yet early galaxies seem to mass-produce them through mechanisms that leave no other observational signatures. The elemental patterns suggest these ancient galaxies had access to nuclear processes that no longer operate in our current universe. Some spectra show evidence of superheavy elements with atomic numbers beyond anything in our periodic table. These theoretical elements should be impossibly unstable, yet they appear to remain coherent over cosmic timescales. Most unsettling is the discovery of organized elemental distributions. Instead of random scattering expected from chaotic stellar processes, these elements appear to follow mathematical patterns. Certain galaxies show elemental abundances that match precise geometric ratios, as if someone was following a cosmic recipe. Webb has detected elemental signatures that suggest matter was being transmuted at the atomic level through processes that bypass normal nuclear physics. Elements appear to transform from one type to another without producing the expected byproducts of nuclear reactions. The implications challenge our understanding of matter itself. Either the early universe operated under different physical laws that allowed rapid element synthesis, or these galaxies were seeded with heavy elements through processes that science has yet to discover. Some researchers propose these elements arrived through interactions with parallel dimensions where different nuclear physics apply. Others suggest the early universe contained exotic matter, states that could rapidly synthesize heavy elements through quantum tunneling effects. But elemental mysteries fade beside Webb's discovery of light itself behaving impossibly. 13 billion light-years away, in the deepest reaches that Webb can penetrate, ancient light carries messages that challenge the fundamental nature of reality. These photons began their journey when the universe was only 100 million years old, during the mysterious epoch when the first stars supposedly ignited. But the light signatures Webb detects tell a story that matches no theoretical model of early stellar evolution. The spectra contain absorption lines that correspond to molecular structures too complex to exist in the primordial universe. According to Big Bang nucleosynthesis, the early universe contained only hydrogen, helium, and trace amounts of lithium. The first stars should have been massive, simple giants burning pure hydrogen in straightforward nuclear fusion. Their light should reflect this chemical simplicity. Instead, Webb detects spectral fingerprints of complex organic molecules, heavy metals, and compounds that require sophisticated chemistry to form. Dr. Robert Kim, from the Early Universe Research Center, describes these observations as cosmic archaeology, revealing impossible artifacts. The light signatures suggest these first stars possessed planetary systems with complex chemical cycles, operating when the universe was supposedly too young and simple for such sophistication. The most disturbing discovery involves the polarization patterns of this ancient light. Light waves vibrate in specific orientations based on what created them and what they encountered during their journey. But these primordial photons show polarization patterns that suggest they pass through structures that should not exist in empty space. The ancient starlight reveals something even stranger. Instead of the chaotic, violent signatures expected from primitive stellar furnaces, these first stars seem to have burned with remarkable stability and precision. Their energy output patterns suggest they were somehow regulated or controlled, maintaining consistent luminosity for millions of years, without the variability that characterizes all known stellar objects. Webb detected spectral lines that indicate these ancient stars produced elements in ratios that perfectly match what would be needed to form Earth-like planets. Rather than the random elemental production expected from early stellar nucleosynthesis, these stars seem to have manufactured specific chemical inventories, as if following a predetermined formula. The light also carries information about the cosmic environment during the universe's infancy. Photons absorbed and re-emitted by primordial gas clouds reveal molecular signatures that suggest complex organic chemistry was already operating when the cosmos was supposedly sterile and lifeless. Most mysteriously, the ancient starlight shows periodic modulations that repeat with mathematical precision. These brightness variations follow patterns that suggest the first stars were somehow synchronized across vast cosmic distances, pulsing in harmonious rhythms that span millions of light years. Some spectral features appear to encode information in binary patterns that resemble digital communication. The light variations follow sequences that match no known astrophysical process but show characteristics similar to engineered signals. It is as if these ancient stars were broadcasting messages across the cosmos. The implications are staggering. Either the first stars formed through processes completely different from what we observe today, or the universe began with a level of organization and complexity that our models cannot explain. The ancient light signatures suggest that intelligence may have emerged in the cosmos far earlier than previously thought possible, perhaps even before the first galaxies fully formed. But stellar mysteries pale beside what Webb revealed about galactic collisions that defy explanation. 4 billion light-years from Earth, two massive galaxies are colliding in ways that violate every law of gravitational physics. When galaxies merge, the process should take hundreds of millions of years as gravitational forces slowly pull the stellar systems together. Astronomers can predict exactly how these cosmic crashes unfold based on Newton's laws and Einstein's relativity. But Webb has captured images of galactic collisions that happen impossibly fast, with outcomes that match no computer simulation. The antennae galaxies provide the most shocking example. These two spiral systems should be in the early stages of a billion-year merger process. Instead, Webb shows them completing gravitational interactions that should take eons, accomplishing in mere millions of years what physics says requires 1,000 times longer. Dr. Patricia Chen from the Galactic Dynamics Institute has been studying these impossible mergers. Her team discovered that colliding galaxies are somehow sharing mass and energy through mechanisms that operate faster than light-speed communication should allow. When one galaxy loses stellar material, the other gains exactly the same amount almost instantaneously, despite being separated by distances that light takes thousands of years to cross. The collision mechanics defy basic physics. Instead of the chaotic stellar scattering predicted by gravitational models, these galaxies merge with almost choreographed precision. Stars from different systems organize themselves into new configurations that show mathematical symmetry impossible to achieve through random gravitational interactions. Webb detected something even stranger during these cosmic crashes. The colliding galaxies generate energy signatures that have no explanation in conventional astrophysics. Gravitational waves from the mergers arrive with frequencies that suggest the galaxies are accessing additional spatial dimensions during their collision process. The stellar debris from these mergers does not behave according to conservation of momentum. Material ejected from collision zones follows trajectories that curve back on themselves, forming loops and spirals that violate basic laws of motion. Some stellar streams appear to flow backwards through time, with light from the debris arriving before the collision events that created it. Most disturbing are the synchronized collision events. Webb has observed multiple galaxy pairs across different regions of space undergoing identical merger processes simultaneously. Galaxies separated by billions of light-years show matching collision patterns that occur within timeframes, suggesting coordinated behavior. The collisions also create new types of cosmic structures that should be gravitationally impossible. Hybrid galaxies emerge from these mergers with mass distributions that form stable configurations defying orbital mechanics. These new galactic forms maintain shapes that require constant energy input to prevent gravitational collapse, yet they show no signs of the energy sources needed for such stability. Some collision sites generate phenomena that appear to bend space-time in localized regions. Light passing through these areas follows paths that curve more sharply than Einstein's field equations predict, suggesting the presence of exotic matter, states, or modifications to gravity itself. The merger processes also seem to selectively preserve certain stellar systems, while destroying others, according to patterns that suggest intelligent design. Planets with specific characteristics survive the cosmic chaos, while others are destroyed, as if the collisions are following predetermined criteria for what should be preserved. These impossible galactic mergers suggest that large-scale cosmic structures operate under rules we do not yet understand, possibly involving forces that transcend our current physics. But galactic mysteries are overshadowed by Webb's discovery of solitary worlds wandering the cosmic void, floating alone in the darkness between stars, trillions of miles from the nearest sun. Planets wander the galaxy like cosmic ghosts that should not exist. These rogue worlds were supposedly ejected from their birth systems during chaotic planetary formation periods, doomed to freeze in the interstellar cold. Without a star to warm them, they should be lifeless ice balls with surface temperatures barely above absolute zero. But Webb has discovered something impossible about these orphaned worlds. they are generating their own heat and light. The planet designated WISE J830 plus 2837 provides the most shocking example. This world, drifting alone 40 light-years from Earth, radiates energy equivalent to a small star despite having no nuclear fusion source. Its surface temperature reaches nearly 1,000 degrees Fahrenheit, hot enough to maintain liquid water oceans that should have frozen solid billions of years ago. Dr. Alexandra Rodriguez from the Planetary Sciences Division has been tracking these impossible wanderers. Her surveys reveal that rogue planets are far more common than anyone expected, with billions of them scattered throughout our galaxy. More disturbing is her discovery that many show signs of active weather systems, atmospheric circulation, and even what appears to be seasonal changes despite having no sun to drive such cycles. Webb detected atmospheric compositions on these rogue worlds that defy explanation. Instead of the frozen, chemically inert atmospheres expected from planets in perpetual winter, these worlds maintain complex chemical cycles that require constant energy input. Some show oxygen levels that suggest active photosynthesis, impossible without sunlight. The most unsettling discovery involves magnetic field measurements. These isolated planets generate magnetic fields stronger than Earth's, despite lacking the molten metal cores that produce planetary magnetism through dynamo effects. The magnetic field patterns suggest these worlds are somehow tapping into energy sources that have no known physical explanation. Even stranger are the synchronized behaviors observed across multiple rogue planets. Webb has tracked clusters of these orphaned worlds that maintain precise distances from each other while traveling through space in formation. They move as if connected by invisible forces, maintaining geometric arrangements that suggest coordinated behavior rather than random gravitational interactions. Some rogue planets emit radio signals with characteristics that resemble artificial transmissions. The signals show modulation patterns that match no known natural radio source, but display features consistent with engineered communication systems. These cosmic broadcasts seem to be directed towards specific regions of space, with timing that suggests purposeful messaging. Webb has detected rogue planets with surface features that appear artificially modified. Geometric patterns visible in infrared imaging suggest large-scale engineering projects that span entire continents. These features show mathematical precision, impossible to achieve through natural geological processes. The thermal signatures of these wandering worlds reveal internal heat sources that operate through unknown mechanisms. Instead of the gradual cooling expected from planets that lost their stellar energy source, these worlds maintain steady temperatures that suggest access to exotic energy generation methods. Most mysteriously, some rogue planets seem to be actively traveling towards specific destinations rather than drifting randomly through space. Their trajectories follow paths that require continuous course corrections, suggesting they are under intelligent control or following some cosmic navigation system. These discoveries imply that planetary systems can exist and thrive without stars, operating through principles that transcend conventional astrophysics. But wandering planets are just the beginning of Webb's discoveries about water in impossible places. Deep in the Orion Nebula, 1,500 light-years from Earth, Webb has detected vast clouds of water vapor, floating in regions where every molecule should have been destroyed eons ago. This stellar nursery reaches temperatures of thousands of degrees Fahrenheit and bathes everything in intense ultraviolet radiation that should break apart water molecules within hours. Yet Webb observes stable water clouds spanning light-years of space, maintaining their molecular structure in an environment more hostile than the surface of the Sun. The discovery violates basic chemistry. Water molecules consist of 2 hydrogen atoms bonded to 1 oxygen atom through relatively weak chemical bonds. In the extreme conditions of stellar formation regions, these bonds should snap instantly, leaving only individual atoms scattered by stellar winds. Finding intact water molecules here is like discovering intact snowflakes in a blast furnace. Dr. Maria Santos from the Astrochemistry Research Institute has been mapping these impossible water deposits. Her spectroscopic analysis reveals water concentrations that exceed what should be possible even under ideal conditions. Some regions contain water vapor densities approaching those found in Earth's tropical rainforests, existing in the vacuum of space where no water should survive. The water signatures show isotopic ratios that match no known formation process. Normal water forms through predictable nuclear reactions inside stars or chemical reactions in cool interstellar clouds. But these impossible water clouds contain hydrogen and oxygen isotopes in ratios that suggest formation through exotic nuclear processes that operate under completely different physical rules. Webb detected something even stranger about the behavior of this space water. Instead of dispersing randomly through the cosmic medium as physics predicts, the water vapor forms organized structures that maintain coherent shapes over millions of years. These aqueous formations create patterns that resemble biological cell structures, suggesting some unknown organizing principle at work. The water clouds also show dynamic behavior that defies explanation. They flow and circulate in currents that span dozens of light years, creating cosmic weather systems that operate without planets or atmospheres to drive them. These interstellar water cycles seem to be self-sustaining, recycling molecular components through processes that require no external energy source. Most disturbing is the discovery that these water deposits appear to be spreading. New water clouds form in previously dry regions of space, emerging through mechanisms that create complex molecules from simple atomic components faster than any known chemistry allows. The process resembles biological reproduction more than chemical synthesis. Some water signatures detected by Webb show characteristics that suggest the presence of dissolved organic compounds. In the vacuum of space, thousands of light years from the nearest planet, these water clouds somehow contain molecular structures typically associated with living organisms. The water also exhibits properties that violate thermodynamics. In regions where temperatures should boil away any liquid, Webb detects spectroscopic evidence of water existing in states that combine properties of gas, liquid, and solid phases simultaneously. These exotic water phases maintain stability under conditions that should make their existence impossible. The implications challenge our understanding of chemistry itself. Either water can exist under conditions far more extreme than laboratory physics suggests, or these cosmic water clouds form through processes that transcend conventional molecular science. The discovery suggests that the basic building blocks of life might be far more common and resilient in the universe than anyone imagined. But water mysteries pale beside Webb's observations of time itself, behaving strangely around cosmic structures. Around the supermassive black hole at the center of galaxy M87, 54 million light-years away, Webb is watching time itself stretch and compress in ways that make Einstein's predictions look conservative. According to general relativity, massive objects warp spacetime and slow the passage of time in their vicinity. This effect should be subtle, detectable only through precise atomic clocks and careful measurement. But Webb observes time dilation so extreme that it becomes visible through direct observation, with stellar orbits that speed up and slow down in patterns that violate our understanding of relativistic physics. The stars orbiting closest to the black hole show temporal effects that exceed Einstein's calculations by factors of hundreds. Time around these stellar objects dilates so severely that their orbital periods change visibly over months rather than the millennia required by standard relativity. It is like watching a cosmic clock whose hands speed up and slow down according to rules that transcend known physics. Dr. Stephen Park from the Relativistic Astrophysics Center has been tracking these temporal anomalies. His measurements show that space around massive objects contains regions where time flows at different rates simultaneously. Some areas experience time acceleration, while adjacent regions show time deceleration, creating temporal gradients that should be physically impossible. Webb detected something even more disturbing about these time effects. Instead of following the smooth curves predicted by Einstein's field equations, Time dilation around cosmic objects shows discrete jumps and sudden transitions. Time seems to operate in quantum steps rather than continuous flow, suggesting that temporal mechanics involve principles beyond classical relativity. The observations reveal stellar systems where cause and effect relationships become scrambled by extreme time dilation. Light from stellar explosions arrives before the gravitational waves that triggered them, creating sequences of events that appear to violate causality. Some stellar orbits show effects preceding their causes by months or years. Most mysteriously, Webb has observed synchronized time effects across objects separated by vast distances. When time dilation changes around one massive object, similar changes occur simultaneously around other objects, thousands of light years away. These coordinated temporal variations suggest that space-time operates as a connected network, rather than a collection of independent gravitational wells. The time effects also seem to influence matter in ways that go beyond simple gravitational acceleration. Atoms in regions of extreme time dilation show energy signatures that suggest they are aging at different rates internally. Some stellar spectra indicate that nuclear processes are operating faster or slower than atomic clocks would predict based on observed time dilation. Webb has detected regions of space where time appears to flow backwards relative to surrounding areas. Light from these temporal anomaly zones shows red shifts that increase over time, rather than remaining constant, suggesting photons are aging in reverse during their journey through warped spacetime. The temporal effects create observational paradoxes that challenge basic assumptions about the nature of time. Some stellar systems appear to exist in multiple temporal states simultaneously, showing spectroscopic signatures that indicate past, present, and future conditions occurring at the same moment. These extreme time phenomena suggest that our universe operates under temporal mechanics far more complex than Einstein's relatively simple space-time curvature model predicts. The discovery implies that time itself might be an emergent property of deeper physical structures rather than a fundamental dimension of reality. But temporal mysteries are overshadowed by Webb's observations of dark matter refusing to behave as expected. Throughout the Coma Cluster, 300 million light-years from Earth, invisible dark matter is behaving like it has a mind of its own. Dark matter should be simple stuff that only interacts through gravity, forming smooth halos around galaxies and galaxy clusters. Computer simulations predict how this invisible material should distribute itself throughout the cosmos, creating the scaffolding upon which normal matter builds stars and galaxies. But Webb's gravitational lensing observations reveal dark matter behaving in ways that contradict every theoretical model. Instead of forming the expected smooth distributions, dark matter appears to organize itself into complex, geometric structures that span millions of light years. These invisible architectures show patterns that resemble biological neural networks more than the random clumping predicted by gravitational collapse models. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, from the Dark Matter Research Consortium, has been mapping these anomalous structures. Her gravitational lensing surveys reveal that dark matter concentrations shift and reorganize themselves over timescales of millions of years, far faster than gravity alone should allow. The invisible matter seems to respond to changes in normal matter distributions as if it possesses some form of awareness. Webb detected something even stranger about dark matter behavior. Instead of remaining gravitationally bound to individual galaxies as theory predicts, dark matter appears to flow between galactic systems in organized streams that connect distant clusters. These dark matter highways transport invisible mass across cosmic distances through mechanisms that operate independently of normal gravitational attraction. The observations reveal dark matter concentrations that maintain precise geometric relationships with each other across vast scales. Dark matter halos around different galaxies show synchronized variations that suggest communication or coordination between invisible structures separated by millions of light years. Most disturbing is the discovery that dark matter seems to anticipate the future behavior of normal matter. Gravitational lensing maps show dark matter concentrations forming in regions where galaxy clusters will appear millions of years later. The invisible matter somehow knows where normal matter will congregate before the normal matter begins moving in those directions. Webb has observed dark matter interactions that violate the fundamental assumption that this mysterious substance only responds to gravity. In collision zones between galaxy clusters, dark matter shows behavior patterns that suggest it experiences forces beyond gravitational attraction and repulsion. The lensing signatures indicate that dark matter possesses internal structure more complex than simple particle interactions. Some dark matter concentrations show layered density profiles that maintain stable configurations impossible under purely gravitational dynamics. Even more mysteriously, dark matter distributions around different galaxies show correlations that suggest shared information or common organizing principles. Galaxies with no causal connection display dark matter halos with matching structural features, as if they were built from the same cosmic blueprint. The dark matter also seems to influence the formation of normal matter structures in ways that go beyond simple gravitational scaffolding. Star formation rates and galactic evolution patterns correlate with dark matter configurations in ways that suggest active intervention rather than passive gravitational influence. These observations challenge the basic assumption that dark matter consists of simple, weakly interacting particles. The behavior patterns suggest dark matter might be a complex system with emergent properties that transcend current particle physics models. The discovery implies that the invisible universe operates under rules fundamentally different from the visible cosmos we can directly observe. But dark matter mysteries fade beside Webb's discovery of stellar explosions that rewrite the physics textbooks. In galaxy NGC 2770, 88 million light-years from Earth, stars are exploding in ways that violate every law of stellar evolution. When massive stars reach the end of their lives, they should follow predictable paths to destruction. The star's core collapses, rebounds in a supernova explosion, and leaves behind either a neutron star or black hole. This process has been observed thousands of times and matches theoretical models perfectly, until Webb started detecting supernovas that explode multiple times, resurrect themselves after apparent death, and produce energy outputs that exceed what their stellar mass should allow. The supernova designated SN 2023 ABC provides the most shocking example. This stellar explosion was first observed in January, reaching peak brightness over several weeks before fading as expected. But in March, the same star exploded again with even greater intensity. By December, it had exploded 5 separate times, each event more powerful than the last. Dr. Rachel Kim from the Stellar Death Research Institute describes these repeat performers as cosmic phoenixes that refuse to stay dead. Her spectroscopic analysis shows that each explosion ejects the equivalent mass of several suns, yet the star somehow regenerates enough material for subsequent explosions. The process violates conservation of mass and energy on scales that challenge fundamental physics. Webb detected something even more disturbing about these impossible supernovas. Instead of the chaotic explosion patterns expected from stellar core collapse, these events show precisely timed detonations that follow mathematical sequences. Some stars explode in patterns that match Fibonacci numbers, prime number sequences, or geometric progressions. The explosion mechanics defy basic nuclear physics. Normal supernovas result from the collapse of iron cores that can no longer support themselves against gravity. But these repeat supernovas show spectroscopic signatures indicating they explode while still burning lighter elements like helium and carbon. They seem to bypass the normal stellar evolution sequence entirely. Most mysteriously, some supernovas appear to explode before their triggering conditions are met. Webb has observed stellar explosions that occur while the progenitor stars still show signs of stable nuclear burning. The explosions seem to anticipate the star's eventual death by millions of years. The energy outputs violate theoretical limits for stellar explosions. Some supernovas release energy equivalent to the complete conversion of matter to energy, according to Einstein's equation, but they do so while ejecting more mass than the original star contained. They seem to be creating matter and energy from unknown sources. Webb has detected supernova remnants that show impossible chemical compositions. Instead of the expected mix of heavy elements created during the explosion, some remnants contain pure isotopes of elements that should not exist in such concentrations. The explosion products suggest nuclear processes that operate under different physical laws. Even stranger are the coordinated supernova events. Stars in different galaxies separated by millions of light-years explode simultaneously, with matching energy signatures and spectroscopic features. These synchronized stellar deaths suggest communication between stellar systems across cosmic distances. Some supernovas produce explosion shockwaves that propagate faster than light speed, arriving at distant locations before the explosion's light reaches the same points. These faster-than-light blast waves seem to carry information about the explosion's characteristics ahead of the event itself. The observations suggest that stellar death involves processes far more complex than simple gravitational collapse and nuclear explosion. But supernova mysteries are overshadowed by Webb's most shocking discovery about the fundamental nature of reality itself. Deep in the cosmic microwave background radiation, the faint afterglow of the Big Bang itself, Webb has detected patterns that suggest our universe is not alone. The cosmic microwave background should show the nearly uniform temperature fluctuations that seeded galaxy formation 13.8 billion years ago. These tiny variations have been mapped with extraordinary precision and match theoretical predictions for a single, expanding universe. But Webb's enhanced sensitivity reveals additional patterns embedded within the cosmic background that cannot be explained by any single universe model. These anomalous patterns appear as geometric structures that repeat across vast regions of the sky with mathematical precision. The structures show characteristics that suggest they are shadows or imprints from adjacent dimensional spaces that somehow influence our observable universe. Dr. Amanda Chen from the Multidimensional Physics Laboratory has been analyzing these impossible patterns. Her team discovered that the geometric signatures match theoretical predictions for interactions between parallel dimensions operating under different physical constants. The patterns suggest that our universe exists within a larger, multidimensional space where different versions of reality intersect. Webb detected something even more disturbing about these dimensional signatures. The patterns are not static imprints from the universe's birth, but active, changing structures that evolve over cosmic time. Some regions show geometric variations that correlate with major cosmic events, suggesting real-time interactions between parallel dimensional spaces. The cosmic background radiation also contains information that appears to be encoded messages from alternate versions of our universe. Statistical analysis reveals binary patterns embedded in temperature fluctuations that show characteristics consistent with artificial communication rather than natural cosmic processes. Most shocking is the discovery of temporal loops within the cosmic background patterns. Some geometric structures appear to contain information about future cosmic events, suggesting that parallel dimensions operate under different temporal rules, where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. Webb has identified regions of space where the normal three-dimensional geometry breaks down completely. Light traveling through these areas follows paths that require additional spatial dimensions to explain. Photons seem to take shortcuts through higher dimensional space that allow them to arrive before they departed. The dimensional interactions also seem to influence matter and energy in our universe. Galaxies located near regions with strong parallel dimension signatures show structural features that cannot be explained by normal gravitational evolution. These cosmic objects appear to be shaped by forces originating from outside our dimensional space. Some parallel dimension signatures show patterns that match the large-scale structure of our universe, but with different physical constants. These alternate reality imprints suggest versions of our cosmos, where stars, galaxies, and planets formed under different rules of physics. The discovery implies that what we perceive as the complete universe may be just one layer of a far more complex, multidimensional reality. Our physical laws and constants might be local properties that vary across different dimensional spaces within a larger cosmic structure. These parallel dimension signatures suggest that consciousness and intelligence might not be limited to our single universe, but could exist across multiple dimensional layers, possibly explaining some of the coordinated behaviors observed in cosmic phenomena. The implications challenge our most basic assumptions about the nature of existence itself. In the deepest survey images ever captured, Webb has discovered galaxies that existed before the universe began. According to Big Bang cosmology, our universe is 13.8 billion years old. Nothing can exist longer than that because time itself began with the cosmic expansion. Every atom, every particle, every quantum of energy emerged from that primordial moment when space and time burst into existence. But Webb's most distant observations reveal fully formed galactic structures that show ages exceeding 15 billion years. These impossible ancient galaxies display characteristics that require billions of years of stellar evolution to develop. They contain population 3 stars that should have burned out long before the Big Bang occurred, along with supermassive black holes that needed eons to grow to their observed sizes. Finding these cosmic seniors is like discovering Egyptian pyramids buried beneath Precambrian rock layers. Dr. Marcus Rodriguez from the Temporal Cosmology Institute has been studying these chronological impossibilities. His team's analysis reveals that these ancient structures show no signs of participating in cosmic expansion. While every other cosmic object moves away from us due to universal expansion, these primordial galaxies maintain fixed positions in space, as if they exist outside the expanding space-time framework entirely. The spectroscopic data reveals even stranger temporal signatures. Light from these impossible galaxies shows red shifts that change over time, but not in the pattern expected from expanding space. Instead, the light seems to age backwards, becoming progressively bluer as Webb continues observing it over months of data collection. Webb detected gravitational lensing effects around these ancient structures that suggest they possess mass distributions that predate the formation of dark matter halos. These galaxies seem to bend space-time through mechanisms that operate independently of the gravitational effects that shaped every other cosmic structure. Most disturbing is the discovery that these pre-Big Bang structures show signs of technological modification. Infrared imaging reveals geometric patterns and energy distributions that resemble engineered constructs rather than natural astronomical objects. These ancient galaxies appear to have been artificially modified by intelligences that existed before our universe began. The impossible galaxies also emit signals in frequency ranges that do not correspond to any known astrophysical process. These transmissions show modulation patterns consistent with communication technologies, suggesting that civilizations thrived in these structures billions of years before the Big Bang created the space and time we inhabit. Chemical analysis reveals that these ancient galaxies contain isotopes with decay signatures that suggest they formed under different physical laws. The nuclear processes that created their elemental compositions operated according to constants and relationships that differ from the physics governing our current universe. Some of these primordial structures appear to be connected through networks of exotic matter that span distances greater than our observable universe. These connections suggest that the pre-Big Bang cosmos operated as an integrated system rather than a collection of isolated objects. The implications shatter our understanding of cosmic origins. If structures can exist longer than the universe itself, then the Big Bang may not represent the beginning of everything, but simply a transition between different phases of a far more ancient and complex reality. but pre-universal structures pale beside Webb's discovery of planets forming in completely impossible stellar environments. Orbiting a magnetar 15,000 light-years away, where magnetic fields are quadrillion times stronger than Earth's, planets are forming in conditions that should vaporize any solid matter instantly. Magnetars represent the most extreme stellar objects in the universe. These collapsed neutron stars generate magnetic fields so powerful they distort the very atoms that compose matter, stretching electron clouds into needle-like shapes and making normal chemistry impossible. The surface temperature reaches 18 million degrees Fahrenheit, while the magnetic field strength would tear apart any approaching material at the molecular level. Yet Webb has detected the unmistakable signatures of planetary formation occurring in orbit around these cosmic monsters. The planetary system around magnetar SGR 1000, 800, and 620 defies every principle of planet formation theory. Rocky worlds somehow maintain solid surfaces while orbiting through magnetic fields that should reduce them to subatomic particles. These impossible planets show atmospheric spectra, indicating stable weather systems operating under conditions more extreme than the interior of nuclear reactors. Dr. Elena Vasquez, from the Extreme Planetary Science Division, has been studying these cosmic impossibilities. Her analysis reveals that the planets maintain stable orbits despite gravitational and magnetic forces that should either pull them into the magnetar or fling them into interstellar space within hours. The orbital mechanics operate according to principles that transcend conventional celestial mechanics. Webb detected something even more shocking about these magnetar planets. Instead of being destroyed by the intense radiation and magnetic fields, the worlds appear to be powered by them. The planetary surfaces glow with their own light, suggesting that the extreme stellar environment is somehow converted into energy that sustains complex geological processes. The atmospheric compositions reveal chemistry that should be impossible under such conditions. Elements that require gentle conditions to form complex molecules somehow maintain elaborate chemical cycles in the presence of magnetic fields strong enough to levitate mountains. Some planets show oxygen levels, indicating active biological processes operating in environments that would sterilize any known form of life. Most mysteriously, these magnetar planets show synchronized orbital periods that form mathematical ratios too precise to result from random gravitational interactions. The worlds seem to dance around their impossible star in choreographed patterns that suggest artificial orbital mechanics rather than natural celestial dynamics. The planetary surfaces display features that resemble constructed megastructures rather than natural geological formations. Geometric patterns spanning entire continents show mathematical precision impossible to achieve through normal planetary processes. These surface modifications appear designed to channel and focus the magnetar's extreme energy output. Webb has observed material transfer between the magnetar and its planets that violates basic physics. Matter flows from the neutron star to the planetary surfaces in streams that somehow maintain coherent structure across millions of miles of space, filled with destructive magnetic fields and radiation. The planets also emit radio signals with characteristics that match no known natural phenomenon. These transmissions show frequency modulations that resemble technological communication systems, suggesting that these impossible worlds might harbor forms of intelligence adapted to extreme magnetic environments. Some magnetar planets display temporal anomalies, where surface features age at different rates depending on their magnetic field exposure. Regions with higher magnetic field strength show geological processes that operate millions of times faster than normal planetary timescales. The discovery suggests that planetary formation and evolution can occur under conditions far more extreme than previously thought possible, possibly through exotic physics that operates only in the most violent cosmic environments. But impossible planets fade beside Webb's observation of light, traveling through dimensions we cannot see. Between Earth and the galaxy Andromeda, 2.5 million light-years away, photons are taking shortcuts through space that should not exist. Light should travel in straight lines through the vacuum of space, covering the distance to Andromeda in exactly 2.5 million years. Einstein's relativity allows for gravitational lensing that can bend light around massive objects, but the fundamental speed limit remains constant. Yet Webb has detected light from Andromeda that arrives thousands of years ahead of schedule, having somehow bypassed significant portions of three-dimensional space. The impossible photons show spectroscopic signatures identical to light that travels the normal route, but their arrival times indicate they covered the same distance in significantly less time. These shortcut photons seem to have accessed higher dimensional pathways that allow faster-than-light travel without violating relativity within our three-dimensional space. Dr. Sarah Kim from the Multidimensional Optics Laboratory has been tracking these anomalous light paths. Her interferometry measurements reveal that the early arriving photons show phase relationships consistent with travel through folded space-time geometries that require additional spatial dimensions to explain mathematically. Webb detected something even stranger about these dimensional shortcuts. The fast-traveling light carries additional information that normal photons cannot possess. These enhanced photons contain data about cosmic structures they should not have encountered during their journey, suggesting they traveled through regions of space that exist outside our observable universe. The shortcut light also shows polarization patterns that indicate interaction with matter types that do not exist in normal three-dimensional space. Some photons display quantum entanglement signatures that suggest they maintain simultaneous connections with their points of origin while traveling through higher dimensional routes. Most mysteriously, the dimensional shortcut phenomenon appears to be increasing over time. More photons are finding these higher dimensional pathways, and the time savings are becoming more dramatic with each observation cycle. The universe seems to be developing new transportation networks that operate outside conventional space-time. Webb has observed light that appears to arrive before it was emitted from distant sources. These temporally displaced photons suggest that higher dimensional travel routes can provide access to past events, creating observational windows into cosmic history that should be impossible under normal physics. The enhanced dimensional photons also carry encoded information that resembles artificial data transmission rather than natural light signatures. Statistical analysis reveals binary patterns embedded in the light's quantum properties that show characteristics consistent with technological communication across higher dimensional space. Some shortcut photons display energy characteristics that suggest they gained additional power during their dimensional transit. These energized photons arrive with more energy than they possessed when originally emitted, indicating they accessed energy sources available only in higher dimensional regions. The dimensional light paths also seem to be selectively accessible. Only photons with specific quantum properties can find the shortcuts, while others must travel through normal three-dimensional space. The selection criteria suggest that higher dimensional access requires precise quantum conditions. The discovery implies that our three-dimensional universe exists within a larger, multi-dimensional structure, where information and energy can travel through pathways invisible to conventional observation. The phenomenon suggests that consciousness and intelligence might naturally operate across multiple dimensions, explaining some of the coordinated cosmic behaviors observed throughout the universe. But dimensional light mysteries pale beside Webb's discovery of energy sources that have no explanation in known physics. Deep in the galactic halo, 40,000 light-years from any star, Webb has detected energy emissions that violate the fundamental law of conservation. These mysterious power sources generate the energy output equivalent to entire stellar systems, while existing in regions of space containing no visible matter, no black holes, no neutron stars, and no other objects capable of producing such enormous energy releases. The emissions appear to emerge from completely empty space, creating something from nothing in direct violation of thermodynamics. The energy signatures show characteristics that match no known physical process. Instead of the broad spectrum emissions expected from matter conversion, nuclear fusion, or gravitational collapse, these sources produce precisely tuned frequencies that suggest technological generation rather than natural astrophysical phenomena. Dr. Michael Chen from the Exotic Energy Research Center has been mapping these impossible power sources throughout our galaxy. His surveys reveal hundreds of these mysterious energy emissions scattered through regions where no energy production should be possible. Each source maintains consistent output levels that suggest controlled generation rather than chaotic natural processes. Webb detected something even more disturbing about these energy sources. They appear to be growing stronger over time, with power outputs that increase according to mathematical progressions. Some sources have doubled their energy production over the months since Webb first detected them, suggesting they are either accessing increasingly powerful mechanisms or building towards some unknown purpose. The energy emissions show modulation patterns that resemble communication signals rather than random astrophysical phenomena. Frequency analysis reveals structured information content that appears to encode complex data streams using energy fluctuations as a carrier medium. Most mysteriously, these energy sources seem to respond to astronomical events occurring elsewhere in the galaxy. When supernovas explode or black holes undergo accretion events, the mysterious power sources adjust their outputs in coordinated patterns that suggest real-time awareness of cosmic happenings. Webb has observed energy sources that appear to be connected through networks spanning thousands of light years. When one source changes its output characteristics, others respond with synchronized modifications that occur far too quickly for light-speed communication to coordinate the responses. The energy production mechanisms seem to operate through interactions with exotic matter, states that exist outside normal spacetime. Gravitational wave detectors register subtle distortions around these energy sources that suggest they access power from higher dimensional regions. Some energy sources display temporal anomalies, where power output precedes the apparent trigger events. The sources seem to anticipate future energy requirements and adjust their generation rates before the demand occurs, suggesting access to information about future cosmic events. The emissions also show quantum coherence properties that should be impossible to maintain over the vast distances these energy sources span. Individual photons from different sources maintain entanglement relationships that indicate shared quantum states across galactic distances. Most disturbing is the discovery that these energy sources appear to be artificial constructs rather than natural phenomena. The precise control over output characteristics and the coordinated network behaviors suggest they represent technology operating on scales that dwarf human engineering capabilities. The energy sources seem to be preparing for some future cosmic event that requires enormous power reserves distributed throughout the galaxy. Their increasing outputs and network coordination suggest they are building toward an unknown purpose that operates on galactic timescales. The implications challenge our understanding of energy itself, suggesting that the universe contains mechanisms for generating power that transcend all known physics. But mysterious energy sources pale beside Webb's discovery of matter that behaves as if it possesses consciousness. Throughout the Perseus galaxy cluster, 300 million light-years away, ordinary matter is organizing itself into patterns that resemble biological systems more than astrophysical phenomena. Gas clouds, spanning millions of light-years, arrange themselves into structures that show characteristics of living tissue. These cosmic formations display organized layers, internal circulation systems, and response behaviors that suggest some form of awareness operating on scales that dwarf planetary ecosystems. The matter flows create networks that resemble neural pathways connecting different regions of the galaxy cluster. Material streams transport energy and information between distant galaxies through organized channels that maintain stable configurations over millions of years. These cosmic circulation systems operate with efficiency that rivals biological nervous systems. Dr. Jennifer Walsh from the Astrobiology Institute has been studying these organized matter behaviors. Her analysis reveals that the gas clouds respond to external stimuli in ways that suggest information processing capabilities. When cosmic ray bursts or gravitational waves interact with these structures, they produce organized responses that propagate throughout the entire network. Webb detected something even more disturbing about these living matter systems. They appear to reproduce through processes that resemble cellular division. Large structures split into smaller copies that maintain the organizational characteristics of their parent systems. These cosmic offspring then grow and develop their own internal complexity over millions of years. The matter networks show adaptation behaviors that suggest learning capabilities. When subjected to repeated gravitational disturbances, the structures modify their configurations to better withstand future disruptions. Each cosmic event teaches the matter systems how to organize more effectively against similar challenges. Most mysteriously, the organized matter displays collective decision-making behaviors. When multiple pathways exist for matter flow between galaxies, the cosmic networks choose routes that optimize information, transfer, and energy distribution. These choices show planning capabilities that require awareness of network-wide conditions. Webb has observed matter structures that seem to engage in communication with similar systems in other galaxy clusters. Organized energy pulses travel between distant matter networks through mechanisms that operate faster than light speed should allow. These cosmic conversations suggest coordination between living matter systems across billions of light years. The biological matter behaviors extend beyond simple organization into complex ecosystem-like interactions. Different types of matter structures show symbiotic relationships, where each type benefits from association with others. Cosmic parasitism also occurs, with some matter systems consuming others to fuel their own growth and reproduction. Some matter networks display defensive behaviors when threatened by black holes or stellar explosions. The structures reorganize themselves to protect critical information processing nodes while sacrificing less important peripheral regions. These survival strategies suggest sophisticated self-preservation instincts operating on galactic scales. The living matter systems also show memory capabilities, maintaining records of past events encoded in their structural configurations. Historical information about cosmic collisions, supernova explosions, and galactic evolution remains accessible within the network architecture for billions of years. Most disturbing is the discovery that these matter systems seem to be evolving toward greater complexity and intelligence over cosmic time. Newer structures show more sophisticated organization and faster response times than older systems, suggesting directed evolution toward enhanced cognitive capabilities. The organized matter appears to be working towards some collective goal that requires coordination between multiple galaxy clusters. The network behaviors suggest they are preparing for future cosmic events that will require unprecedented levels of matter organization and information processing. The implications suggest that consciousness and intelligence might be fundamental properties of matter itself, rather than rare accidents of biological evolution. But living matter mysteries fade beside Webb's discovery of gravitational anomalies in supposedly empty space. In the cosmic void between galaxy superclusters, regions of space containing no visible matter are bending light and warping space-time as if massive objects were present. These gravitational anomalies occur in areas that deep surveys confirm contain no stars, no galaxies, no black holes, and no detectable matter of any kind. Yet, space in these regions curves exactly as if invisible masses, equivalent to billions of suns, were creating gravitational wells that trap light and bend the paths of passing cosmic rays. The gravitational effects follow none of the patterns expected from dark matter concentrations. Instead of the smooth, predictable warping that dark matter halos produce, these anomalies create complex geometric distortions that suggest intelligent design rather than natural gravitational collapse. Dr. Robert Kim from the Gravitational Physics Institute has been mapping these impossible gravitational sources throughout intergalactic space. His measurements reveal that the anomalies maintain precise geometric relationships with each other across distances spanning hundreds of millions of light-years. The gravitational fields seem to form organized networks rather than random distributions. Webb detected something even stranger about these empty space gravitational effects. They fluctuate in coordinated patterns that suggest active control rather than passive mass concentrations. The gravitational strength varies over time, according to mathematical sequences that match no known astrophysical process. The anomalies also create gravitational lensing effects that amplify light from specific cosmic sources while ignoring others. This selective focusing behavior suggests that the gravitational fields can somehow distinguish between different types of electromagnetic radiation and choose which signals to enhance. Most mysteriously, the gravitational anomalies seem to anticipate the motion of passing objects. Cosmic rays and light beams experience course corrections that guide them towards specific destinations, as if the gravitational fields were providing navigation services for interstellar travelers. Webb has observed gravitational waves emanating from these empty regions that carry information patterns rather than the simple ripples expected from colliding massive objects. The wave signatures show modulation characteristics consistent with artificial communication rather than natural gravitational phenomena. The gravitational anomalies also display temporal effects that violate relativity. Time dilation measurements around these regions show variations that exceed what the apparent gravitational strength should produce. Some areas experience time acceleration, while others show time deceleration, creating temporal networks that connect distant regions of space. Some gravitational fields appear to be powered by energy sources that operate outside normal spacetime. The anomalies maintain their strength despite having no visible matter to sustain them, suggesting they access exotic energy from higher dimensional regions. The empty space gravitational effects also seem to respond to cosmic events occurring elsewhere in the universe. When massive cosmic collisions occur, the anomalous gravitational fields adjust their configurations in patterns that suggest awareness of and reaction to distant events. Most disturbing is the discovery that these gravitational anomalies are increasing in number and strength over time. New gravitational effects appear in previously normal regions of space, while existing anomalies grow more powerful and complex in their behaviors. The gravitational networks seem to be constructing infrastructure that spans intergalactic distances. The coordinated field patterns suggest they are building transportation systems that will allow faster-than-light travel through controlled gravitational shortcuts. The implications challenge our fundamental understanding of gravity itself, suggesting that gravitational effects can exist independently of matter and operate according to principles that transcend Einstein's general relativity. But gravitational mysteries pale beside Webb's most shocking discovery about signals arriving from beyond our observable universe.